Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Summary. I'm your host, Kyle. With me, as always, is Steve. Liverpool are one win away from the Premier League title. Tottenham today. Steve, how are you feeling, man?
I knew you were going to ask me that question.
I've asked you 223 straight weeks.
Is that what number we're on?
223 today.
Wow. Um, Dude, I feel relieved. I'm so excited, but I'm also just relieved because I feel like we deserved to be champions more than just once in the last decade or whatever it's been. And hopefully today we can secure that. We only need a point. I would love a win because I would like to win out so we finish on 94 points so people can stop saying Liverpool or the league was weak or Liverpool are the worst champions in however long. I mean, dude, I think we've already matched last year's point total and there's 5 games left.
Right.
Or if we win today, we match it or something like that.
And I've seen this stuff. There's stuff goes around, but you see that rival fans are saying this is the worst Premier League title race ever. Like Liverpool are the least deserving title team, right? Given we win it ever. And I'm just thinking to myself, like you just said, if we've already matched last year's point total, and I've seen the stat that Ferguson had never won the league with over 91 points or something like that, and we're on pace for what is it? If we
94
win out,
if we win out.
94 if we win out. Just little stats like that really put it into perspective. But again, I think that's people putting all the naysayers under a microscope. It really just comes down to the fact that for me, it's not a COVID year. That's the only asterisk for me on the last Premier League title was that, yeah, we won it by a lot, but it just didn't feel like a real season. This is 100% legit, 100% deserved, and there's no one who can question that Liverpool were the best team. Nobody. I mean, there's no argument.
Of course, there's no argument. When people say it's the worst title race, there's no race. Like, you can't even make that statement. We're not in a race. We're going to wrap it up with 2 months left or 6 weeks left, whatever it is. It's crazy. And also there's this thing that people seem to forget, and it's point totals. And it's like, we're going to finish with more points than I would guess. This is just a guess because I don't know the numbers, but I think we can all agree we will finish this season with more points than 90% of the Premier League champions of all time.
Right.
People have won the league in the 70s, in the low 80s. We're already there. We're already in the low 80s. And there's 5 games left. And it's like, we're going to be up, if we win today, I think we're up 15 points. And like, I don't want to hear the league is worse this year because last year, and here's the thing, rival fans always have something to say. Last year, when we were in the driver's seat and we started to let it slip, we were bashing everybody, including ourselves. We were bashing City for being cheaters. We were roasting Arsenal and saying they don't belong up here in this, what should be a 2-horse race. We were bashing our own team for, you could argue they bottled it. And nobody was saying it's the worst Premier League year of all time. Nobody was saying that the league is so weak. Things come to an end. Things change. City's not the same team that they were. All those players that carried them to all those trophies are either gone or old. And it's like, what did you expect? City hasn't really brought in much in the way of, besides Holland, players that are like trophy caliber winning players in the last couple years. They brought in the Gvardiols. The Holland, of course, is excellent, but it's at the end of the day, it's been the same nucleus for them: Diaz, Ederson, De Bruyne, Foden, Silva. Things come to an end.
they still find a way to make it work, and they have. And I think that's the greatness of City, which even more so speaks to the point that this is well deserved. We've been going head to head with City for a decade, dude. Yeah, I mean, obviously you have seasons where you don't finish neck and neck, but this team is the only team that you could say is better than City. Even though there are teams that have won it, I just feel as if Liverpool just gets the shit end of the stick. When City wins it, it's, oh, City are phenomenal, right? When Liverpool wins it, all I see is negativity surrounding it. Whether it's you didn't deserve to win the league's not competitive, or it was, and Oyvind brought up that City won it the COVID year. When we won it, there were no fans in the stands. So whether that was the year after, whatever, it was COVID as far as I'm concerned. So it kind of irritates me, but at the same time, all that matters is you win it. Right? We're winning the title. And if you asked me at the beginning of the season, do I think we were going to win the title? Absolutely not. Dude, I was very cautious coming into this year. Would you have taken, right? And actually, before I ask you that question, because I'm going to forget, I want to give a shout out to our channel members here. Liz, 52 months in, perfect timing too on the day that we're hopefully going to win the league. And Doug, excuse me, guys. 50 months. He says, let's go Reds. Number 20 is incoming. Also, that COVID season, we had the league wrapped up at the time COVID hit. We had 82 points. City could only get 81. Steve, how many points were we up by Christmas?
46,000.
46,000. Yes, sir. So I don't want to hear any fans saying that.
Also, the years we've won it this year and that year, we've run away with it.
Isn't that crazy?
So people will say, oh, and it really is because of City. Let's say City were like 8 points behind right now, but like clearly Liverpool were going to win it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody would be saying the league is weak. City has brainwashed the masses to think that if they're not good, then the league is weak. They're not the league. There's 20 teams in this league. And also, I would argue that City showed their true colors this year when Rodri went down and the whole ship sank. None of us had any idea that he was that pivotal to their success. Nobody on planet Earth would guess that if Rodri goes down, the club crumbles. And that's what happened. And that's
pivotal.
What happened.
I see what you did there. That might be the best point you've made on this show ever in the history of time. That's a great point, because you're right. If City's not in the race, it almost creates this illusion where you look at the table, you're like, it's not that competitive. Even though Arsenal are a great team, even though Newcastle has rebuilt and become very competitive, I don't look at Newcastle and see a third place team, right? You don't look at Newcastle as being that competitive. But dude, Newcastle have 62 points, Arsenal have 67, and then you look at us, we have 79.
I also want to point something else out while we're looking at those totals. Arsenal are closer to 7th place than they are to 1st.
Right.
So I don't want to hear it. City could finish above Arsenal. So if it's Arsenal fans saying this, which I don't know if it's just them.
Yeah, neither do I.
I doubt it. I feel like they probably have the worst fan base, but they know that their quality has dropped off. There's no way they don't know that. But anyways, Arsenal could literally finish in 6th or 7th place. They're not going to, but mathematically, they are closer to 7th than they are to 1st.
This
City's
table
creeping up. City 6 points behind them.
Yep.
Newcastle could overtake them. Again, this stuff is like pretty unlikely.
Yeah.
But how bad has Chelsea been this year? How up and down have they been? Nobody cares about Chelsea. Arsenal, 7 points above Chelsea.
It's
Nottingham
just a
Forest,
wild table.
7 points behind Arsenal, and Forest has a game in hand.
You can't look at the table and not think that it's just a wild table. I mean, you have teams right above the relegation zone: West Ham, Tottenham, United, Everton, Wolves. That's a wild 5 teams that are just above the relegation zone, dude. Your mid-table teams are Crystal Palace, Brentford, Bournemouth, Brighton, Fulham, Villa, Forest. I mean, the table is completely divided this year. You have teams that have really picked it up, that have found their stride, like you were talking about, Newcastle. I know what you think about Arsenal, but Arsenal just have. City have had a falling off. Chelsea have been wildly inconsistent, as you said. But for a while, Forest and Villa were in the top 4, dude. They were obviously going to fall off. It has been a wild year. There's no one debating that the table has been off kilter, but that doesn't make it any less competitive. And I think that's
I think it's more competitive.
Exactly. Yeah. But I feel like people look at the teams that are the order of the table and they say, oh, because the traditional top 6 teams are not all in the top 6, it's not as competitive. It's like, what logic is that? What logic is that?
That big 6, I think, gets misconstrued or has almost dissolved over the years, because when was the last time the top 6 was the big 6? I don't even know the answer to that, but I would imagine it hasn't been in the last few years. Not to mention, Tottenham and Man United could literally finish 1 place above the relegation zone.
Wild.
It is wild. Now, having said that, these teams like the Forest, Villa, Fulham, Brighton, like, it's a long year. So what you typically see is that if somebody comes out of the gate hot, like Forest did, or any of these other teams that like make a splash in the beginning of the year, I feel like Brighton's done it a million times.
Sure.
They usually cool off and the table settles and finds their place. However, the league is so competitive this year, and these teams have shown much more consistency than we're used to them showing. I don't think it means that the league is weaker per se. Nobody would argue that like City lost a bunch of quality. Nobody would argue that Arsenal sold a bunch of players and that's why they have less points this year.
Right.
It's the league has just gotten so much better. Look at the teams we've lost to. Look at the teams we've struggled against.
Yep. And you know what I could argue as well? Not only is the team or the league more competitive, okay? If you look at past tables, you look at City and Liverpool as being the top dogs, right? 1 draw could land you in a world of hurt at the end of the season when you're fighting for that title race. 1-point title races, under 5-point title races, coming down to the last day. If you look at the number of losses with Liverpool and Arsenal have essentially just overtaken that second spot, whether it was City or Liverpool prior, okay? Liverpool have 2 losses. Arsenal only have 3. Newcastle have 10 losses, Steve, and they're in 3rd place.
I think 9, but either way.
I'm looking at the table right now. It says 10.
Okay.
And then City have 9. And then Chelsea have 8. My point is that there are more losses happening. It's not like as top heavy, right? But that even shows how dominant Liverpool and frankly Arsenal have been. Even though Arsenal have 13 draws, you have to be phenomenal to win the league. Because I'm looking at this table and I'm seeing the 3rd place team with 10 losses. I mean, that's incredible. And you look at Liverpool with 7 draws, 2 losses. If City were at their best, we might be fighting for 2nd place. It's kind of crazy. 79 points, 33 played. It's remarkable that people will say that Liverpool don't deserve it or it's not as competitive as it has been in years past, like you said, for 2 reasons. Because City had an off year, right? But maybe they've just declined, dude. Just like every team has a good year. Liverpool have scored, what did we score? 98 points that year when we lost by 1? Was it 98, 99? Something like that. We were
I
up
can
there.
Look.
Phenomenal year, but City had a great year, right? Consider that unlucky. But now, you just have so much more balance, so much more competition. And we're still, people just don't want to accept it. Liverpool had a phenomenal year. Okay. And even though we have 5 games left, 4 games left, 5 games left, okay, I would love to see when the table's all set and done, set in stone, what people say, because it's likely we're going to end near 90 points. Okay. Maybe even more. And I'd love to know what the chat thinks about that.
Let me point out one thing I think
Please.
that has been overlooked this year, and it's kind of flown under the radar. This year has felt different because Klopp is not here anymore,
Agreed. Agreed.
right? Style of play different. Um, all the contract talks. There's been a lot of distractions as well. There was, you know, the the thing that people don't realize, and I actually didn't realize till I looked at it the other day, is when this season wraps up, we are likely going to finish with our second highest goals for in the league in the last like decade. We have quietly scored a ton of goals. We've got 75 goals for in 33 matches. So what are we averaging? 2 point something?
Yeah, basically. Let's just
Two
call
and a
it.
half, two and a
Yeah.
third. And with 5 games left, if we keep with that, we're going to finish above 85. We're going to finish close to 90 goals. That's absurd. That's why we're where we are,
Mm-hmm.
because our defense is, from a goals conceded perspective, only 2 behind Arsenal. We've let in 31, but we've scored 75, which is absurd.
Yep. I'm going,
That
and that's
that is something that I didn't realize was happening, because I don't really remember huge wins this year. There was a few, but we've scored a lot of goals, and I think we still have a lot of goals left in us.
that's a really good point because now I'm going through each season. And we're going to 21-22 when we finished 1 point behind City again with 92 points. We had 94 goals, 26 goals against. That's the best defensive year I think we've had. Still couldn't, wrap up the league. But then the year before, finished third place, 68 goals. Okay, what did you say we're at now? 75?
75. I
Year
think we're going to
before,
finish at like 88.
the year we had 99 points, okay, and ran away with the league, we had 85 goals. 18-19, we had 89 goals. So you're right, we're up there with the best performances, and we might not even get the same amount of points as we've gotten in those 2 years. But our offense, oh damn, our defense was good in 18-19. We only had 22 goals allowed. That's
It's
so
crazy. Now that I look at it,
crazy.
I think finishing in our with our second highest goal tally is possible,
Mhm.
maybe. But I think maybe we'll call it top 3. But either
I
way,
think that's fair.
people didn't really talk about us this year as
No.
like a dominating attack.
But why is that? Why is the reason? Or what's
Style
the
of
reason?
play.
Because the league's competitive. You're not looking at a team that's like, oh, they're dominating again this week. They're dominating again this week. It's so well balanced that it's just kind of like I felt the same thing. I've looked at I don't feel, and maybe it's down to Klopp being gone and it's a new, you know, I don't know, aura surrounding the team. Maybe it's because there was a lot of stress this year with the contracts and Trent leaving and, all that stuff. But I felt the same way. I've almost felt like there hasn't been any runaway performances. It's a very interesting year.
Alexi says, I had an Arsenal fan say to me the other day, they are annoyed we will win the league early like PSG do. All of a sudden, it's a problem as if City haven't done it for the past 5 years. That's the thing. It's like there's no race. So I can understand why some of these other fan bases are salty, but we have shown wild consistency this year. And I almost feel like more proud of this one because it's almost like we've quietly just run away with it. Like without Klopp and with all the changes in the contract talks, it's the league. I've said it twice. You've said it already today. It's felt different. It's almost like we've quietly just blown past everybody,
Yeah.
like silent assassins almost. And it's like, whoa, they blink and it's like, oh my God, Liverpool's 15 points up with 5 games to go and it's clinched.
And
It's absurd. It's absurd.
it is. And I think the reaction, think about this. If Slot wasn't the coach, say Klopp was still the coach and Liverpool are running away with it, how much would the media be eating it up? Like Klopp versus Guardiola, who's the better manager, right? Like Klopp is a mastermind. He had a bad year and then he found it again. He knows his players, man manager, that sort of thing. But because it's a new manager, I feel like everyone's kind of backed off. And like you said, it's just we've quietly just won the league. We've pulled away. It's very interesting, dude. And I just, oh man, we deserve it. The team absolutely deserves it. Before we move on to the next section, let's go ahead and go over to the chat here. So Ivan says, I predicted every game before the season, and apparently we're supposed to get 105 points, but this is good enough. Hey, 24 wins so far, 79 points. I'll take it. Let's see what else. I think you touched on all the Lexi's comments. So actually, dude, let's just jump into Van Dijk's contract extension. We haven't been on here since he did extend. And Salah, Van Dijk extends. I mean, just give me your thoughts.
I mean, what is there to say?
That's what I'm saying. It's expected.
I called it. He's the captain. Where was he going to go? PSG? Saudi? No.
He's not an idiot. He's not an idiot, dude.
No,
Van Dijk is one of those players. I really think he just gets it.
Yeah, he's a different breed. He's a different breed.
Yeah.
None of the outside factors affect him. I know exactly what you're trying to say and what you're saying here. He's just a different breed. He is comfortable in his own skin. He's comfortable in his ability. He knows he can go anywhere and make any sort of money, but he knows that he has established himself here. He's been here for a while. Are there any upgrades across Europe? Probably not. And it just makes sense. You're already a Liverpool legend. Cement yourself as the best ever.
I appreciate you picking me up on that one because I was going to struggle to find the words, but that's exactly what I wanted to say. The guy just, he understands what he has. And he's never been like this, dude. You look at his track record. I mean, dude goes from Celtic to Southampton to Liverpool. He knew what he wants. He wanted to play in England. He found a team, established himself. He's a legend at Liverpool Football Club. Salah knows he's a legend at Liverpool Football Club. These guys aren't stupid. And that's where I'm standing with the whole Trent thing. That's where it kind of still irritates me a little bit. It still irritates me that Trent could leave as a free agent, regardless of how the team does, success-wise with the Premier League and then beyond that. Trent has everything laid out on like a golden platter for him, silver platter, whatever the saying is. Van Dijk, Salah made the right decision. Now, they are at very different points in their career, right? They're on the back end of their career. They've already won a bunch here. Sure, they could go make more money somewhere else, but they're not going to have the success or the competition that they would have at Liverpool. Trent's mid-prime of his career. So maybe you could argue that's why he's making, the move. Because I still struggle to wrap my head around it, man.
I don't even know if he's leaving anymore.
I don't.
Fabrizio Romano says it's close, but like,
no,
okay.
It's 75.
And I also don't care anymore.
I care. I've
wasted all my mental calories on this. I want to celebrate the league. And Trent, if you want to go, see you later. At this point, thank you for scoring the winner last week. That was an epic moment.
That was.
But he didn't kiss the badge.
Yeah, I mean,
I wish he would have kissed the badge.
But that's
if nothing else, not to send a cryptic sign, but just to say thank you.
Yeah, but to be honest, man, that's the least of my concerns because when you score a winner like that, the last thing you're thinking about is, oh, let me make sure the fans know that I love the club. You're just hype. You're like, let me just celebrate. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
no, these guys think, Kyle, I get what you mean, but these guys think about their celebrations before the match. They already know what their celebration is going to be. Same thing with NFL players, wide receivers, running backs. They know exactly what their celebration is going to be before the game starts.
Fair.
And a lot of people don't think about that, but some come out of nowhere. If somebody just runs and slides to the corner flag, sure, that's probably not planned, but there are some celebrations that are planned, no doubt.
Hmm.
The one that he had wasn't planned, obviously, because it was a very interesting moment and like he saved the day. But I don't know. Either way, here's what I want to say about Van Dijk before we move on. The thing I love about Van Dijk is his longevity and his consistency. So there's always been like is he better than Vidic? Is he better than Terry, Ferdinand? All this stuff, right? All the guys from the past. But when you think about how long he's been at the top, Kyle, we started by comparing him to Varane during Real Madrid's heyday, Thiago Silva at PSG, Marquinhos, those type of guys. A couple years later, it changed. Ruben Dias for a few years.
Hmm.
Lately, you got Rudiger,
Rudiger's been
Saliba. We've
unreal.
gone through 10 years of who's up next to be compared to Van Dijk. Like who's the new hot talent in Europe that we're going to compare to Van Dijk? He's the GOAT.
He is. He
We've
is.
been through 10 years of people trying to get in that conversation next to him. It's crazy. How long's he been here?
Dude,
8 years?
Yeah. Remarkable. Remarkable longevity, as you said. He is, and this is completely biased. So any fans looking at this from a rival standpoint, like, oh, that's a biased take. Van Dijk is the best. He is, at least in the Premier League, right? You could maybe, argue Ramos, right? Or something like that.
That's who I forgot. I knew I missed somebody.
Yeah, but Van Dijk is just different breed. I'm not going to add on to that because that is literally what he is a different breed. And so happy he's staying. He exemplifies everything that's a captain of Liverpool Football Club should be. Just dialed in, professional, knows what needs to get done, and does it. If you want to criticize him about his little comments in the media, sure. But this man just knows what he needs to do as a professional. Okay? He's a legend in my eyes. And the last thing I'll say on Trent, and we'll move on to fucking Nunez. Trent, I agree with what I think it was Liz who said it. I want to find what Liz said. Where's she at? Oh, no, it was Hannah. Excuse me. I don't want Trent being booed or anything like that. But yeah, so long as thanks for all the fish, basically. So Trent doesn't deserve to be booed. He hasn't done anything wrong, right? He hasn't come out in the media. He hasn't submitted a transfer request. He's stayed quiet. All right. He ultimately is handling this with tons of professionalism. We all just disagree with his choice. He should stay, right? But at the end of the day, when you actually think about who we have in the wings coming up, you have Connor Bradley coming up. You could make the argument, and I've said this 2 weeks ago, that you're not losing much between Trent and Bradley defensively. In fact, you're probably gaining some, okay? And in terms of ceiling and potential, Bradley's right up there. It's not like if you lost Van Dijk and you had to make do with Konate and then Kwanzaa and Gomez, right? No, you would need to fill that hole with something. Trent, as great as he has been offensively, as great of a passer as he is, as great as he is at free kicks, Scouser, the emotional side of things, I get it. It's not that much of a drop off. And so with that said, and the way he's handled it, I don't like it. I've been trying to come to accepting it. So if he ends up signing an extension, that's going to kind of piss me off, just because I've already come and accepted it. But you're not losing much, and he's handled it with a certain level of professionalism. He hasn't come out and said anything. He's kept it quiet. He's let the media kind of speculate, and so I do respect that side of things. In that sense, whatever. I've accepted it. I would like to move on to Darwin Nunez now, because this guy, we talked about it right before we went live, Steve. If you haven't seen it, there was a deleted tweet, and he basically said, "No wonder I didn't play." I didn't even understand it. I don't know if the translation was off, but he was like, "I started playing well, and then dot 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 or something." And I don't know what the hell he's trying to say. But it's like, dude, how old are you? Are you 17?
Well, there's
Shut
this
up.
thing. There's this
Shut
thing
up.
where if he plays one more match, I think we owe
Yeah.
Benfica 5 million.
Right.
And I think that news broke, whether it's true or not. He must have caught wind of it and probably just decided he wanted to comment on it. And I mean, do you think Slot would really keep him out for that? Because I don't.
No.
I think Slot would be like, I don't care about that. That's your fault for signing that deal. We need to do what's best for the club, and if that means having him on the pitch, he's going on the pitch. I wouldn't be surprised if he played today.
That's
it's friggin' childish, and it's like, dude, for the people that still wanted you here, now we all want you gone.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I still wanted him here, but you just cemented yourself as a reject. And
very much
people
so.
have stuck by you at 90 million or whatever you cost. People have stuck by you. You are the reason we didn't win the league last year, because you hit the post 40 times. You're the reason we don't have 3 Premier League trophies. The sole reason. We had an excellent season last year, but so many games we drew or we lost. And we just couldn't get over the line because you couldn't finish. So stop crying on social media, and good luck.
The least amount of respect I can have for someone is someone who takes to social media to like cry. Like, I hate that. Okay. And most of us have been through a phase where we're like really into social media. You're posting stuff, all your thoughts, lyrics, whatever you want to do, right? Darwin Nunez is a professional athlete, and you're expected to go through your day-to-day with a certain level of professionalism and just doing your job, right? And not only have you not performed on the pitch, hitting the post 40 times, as you said, and, I think you said it best. There have been so many people that have just gone to bat for him when other people have given up on him, including us. Like, I see the potential. I see the effort. I want it to work out because, I like his attitude on the pitch. But there's a lot of evidence piling up, Steve, that he's kind of a crybaby, and he lacks that emotional intelligence. He headbutted a dude, right? I mean, whether you want to look at that as a red card or not, he does have a little bit of a temper on the pitch. That's fine. You're a competitor, but just stay off social media, man. Like, everyone sees that. Where's your forethought on like how this might play out? Now people won't forget that. No matter how well you do, people are not going to forget that.
No, that's just killed any sort of
anything
silver lining we would have found looking back on your legacy here or your time here. And also, basically what he said was, I think it has to do with that like $5 million fee or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But basically what he said was, oh, I'm not surprised I haven't played again because the last time I played well. Since when?
That doesn't make sense.
Since when do you get to play well one time and then earn a starting spot? Think about all the play. Think about Joe Gomez, who was like player of the year for half of the year last year.
Yep.
And then he doesn't snip the pitch even when he's fit. Think about Tsimikas, who has had excellent games, still doesn't sniff the pitch. Kelleher has been world class at times. As soon as Allison comes back, adios.
Yep.
Jones, been one of the best midfielders in the league the past 2 seasons, if you ask me, still struggles for game time. All these players. Okay? And sorry, Darwin, but you have 40 appearances this year. Guess how many goals he has, Kyle? 40 appearances.
4.
7.
7? Okay.
40.
This ain't rec ball, Steve.
40 appearances.
You're not
across
playing.
Champions League, EFL Cup, and Premier League. FA Cup's not even on here. So I don't even know how many times he played there. But he has 5 Premier League goals.
This isn't rec ball, dude. You're not playing 8 games once a week. And if you have a good performance, you're going to play. Like this isn't charity, dude. Okay, you're playing 60 plus games a year as a team. Okay? You have every player on the team who is a professional athlete, who's getting paid, who's expected to live up to a certain standard. And you're crying because you had one good game and now you're not playing? Like, once players realize, and this is across all professional sports, once players accept the fact that they have to put in the balls to the wall effort day in, day out, week in, week out, and not only the effort, but the production on the pitch, and produce that consistently to be even considered to be in a starting 11 or starting 5 or whatever sport you play, once they make that realization, everything changes. That has not happened for Darwin Nunez yet. He is still in the mindset of, I've been the best everywhere I've gone. And now all of a sudden I'm on this team where I'm not playing. I'm struggling when I do play. I'm clearly not the problem. There's something else going on. My outlet is to complain on social media. My outlet is to act up on the pitch when something doesn't go my way. I think with time, with maturity, that will fix itself. But dude, you're playing for the Premier League champions elect, let's say. Get your shit together.
Dude, you took the words right out of my mouth. Great spiel there, by the way. It's like, Darwin, like, let's sit down and look in the mirror. Or if I could sit with him, this is what I would ask him. Darwin, many could make the argument that Liverpool is the best club in the world right now. They're about to win the best league in the world. They fell short in some other competitions. I feel like it's annoying that I have to say that, but like, we were probably the favorites for the Champions League at one point. We didn't even like lose a game in the first like 10 matches or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we're about to win the league. So let's just assume we're the best team in the league, in the world. Let's just throw that out there. Okay. Darwin, what makes you think you deserve to start or play for this team? Give me one example, Darwin. He would be at a loss for words. What was the game this year where he scored 2 for the winner to win it?
Was it Newcastle at the beginning?
So Newcastle was last year. It may have been against Newcastle again. I don't know, but guys, let us know in the chat. Wasn't there a match where he scored 2 like towards the end and we won? I'm trying to remember which match that was.
Was
Either
Newcastle last year? God, I'm losing it.
Newcastle was last year. Yeah, that was a dope performance.
That
Jordan Welch says Brentford. Okay, so Jordan, was it 2 goals in like one in like the 80th and one in like extra time and we won? Or did we save a draw or something? Yeah, Brentford. Okay, so now take those 2 goals away. Take that 5-minute span of one game away.
What is he?
You have 3 Premier League goals. How dare you even have a social media account? You should be at the training ground. You shouldn't even have a phone. We bought you for damn near 100 million. And you're on your Twitter account with 3 Premier League goals?
It ain't right. Kid ain't right.
What a joke.
Yeah, man. And we did stick behind him. I mean, there have been some chats coming in too. Like, a lot of fans would have just given up on him, but Liverpool fans, for the most part, stuck behind him, gave him the benefit of the doubt. Of course, some were saying he's not good enough. Before me, right? Some people saw the writing on the wall way before I did because I was like, oh no, I still see the potential. He's just hitting the post. Imagine if he didn't hit the post. But the truth always kind of comes to light. And I think he knows now that the end is near with him at Liverpool. And maybe he's frustrated with himself. And as a result, he might be not acting up. I mean, he's not acting up, but he is taking to social media as an outlet. As like, look, I'm frustrated with myself. Okay. And I know I want to be better, but I'm just not performing. So let me complain about something. That's the difference, right? That's the difference between a Van Dijk and a Darwin, a Salah and a Darwin. That's the difference. A Van Dijk would look at that as, I just played terribly. What do I need to do? I need to get back in the lab, watch some tape, figure out what happened, and fix it. All right. And if I can't fix it, I'm still going to go balls to the wall and back my team and back the coach on whatever his decision is. How many times do you see star players in any sport say, that's up to the coach, whatever the coach decides?
Every day.
Every day, dude. Every day. And even if it is lip service, that's what you have to do. There's a chain of command. You don't just get to act out. Like, this is a team, Darwin. It's a team. This isn't Portugal. You're playing in the Premier League.
Also, so there's two sides to this, I think. When you think about Darwin Nunez, like the Premier League is a melting pot. We have the best players from all around the globe.
Yep.
But he has a following and a special following from his home country, as all these players do. And I think part of it is like he probably feels pressure from the people from his hometown and his home nation that are so proud of him. And when he's turned out to be like quite a flop, I think this sort of tweet is almost like an excuse to appease that side of his fan base. Because there's no way he thinks that we're going to see his tweet as Liverpool supporters and go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Wow, we're doing him dirty. Are you kidding me, bro? Like we're laughing at you. We're literally disgusted with what you put. But there are people from South America that will see that and believe that. And
sure.
the way it's portrayed in the media down there is probably so much different than the way we're looking at it here.
I think that's one way to look at it. I ultimately think it just comes down to his mindset, how he looks at everything. He's not at a stage of his life where he can accept responsibility yet. He's still he has that entitlement of, I've been the best wherever I've gone. I'm a professional athlete, and now I'm not playing consistently, and no matter how hard I try, it's just not happening for me. That's never happened to him before. Okay? And when it happens to players, there's really only three things that happen. You act out, right, to a certain level, like Darwin goes to social media. You buckle down and get better and figure it out, okay? Or you fall off the face of a cliff and no one talks about you again because it just affects your mental health. Look at Dele Alli. Look at Coutinho. As soon as players face adversity for whatever reason, all right, you need to react a certain way. And Darwin just chose the wrong path, right? Even though it's not as a big of a deal, like you're done. You've cemented like that you're not fit for Liverpool Football Club.
Yep.
See you later.
Yeah, moving on.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he plays today. Like, I don't think Slot loves that sort of thing, but like, there's just bigger fish to fry, man. Darwin's a nutcase. Like, he's just like that. But he's a body and he works hard. And like, if he scores today, they will cheer for him.
Of course.
There's still a level of respect that the supporters and the folks that are at the match today will hold as in terms of respect for the club. You don't have to love the person, but if he's out there giving his all and he scores for the club, he'll get cheered on today. They'll sing his name, I bet.
Of course.
Yeah. And when that happens, I hope he feels like shit. I hope he feels like, damn,
I shouldn't have done
really
that.
screwed up.
Yeah. Kill him with kindness. That's kind of the approach that the fans should take. Like, look, Darwin, we've always been behind you. Yeah, we've criticized you, but dude, if you do well, we're gonna support you. Now, I see Hannah talking about Chiesa. Dude, I saw Chiesa, dude. Can I just get your thoughts on that? Like, just the situation with Chiesa. Is this
I would love
Arthur?
to keep him.
Okay.
No, I would love to keep him and just see what he's capable of. I just want to see him play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe we wrap the league up, we get a comfortable lead in some games, and just put him in at halftime. Just let him play. I want to see what he's got. We don't know what he's got. Every time he gets in, something seems to happen. He's either ripping a shot from outside the box. He got a goal and an assist. He scored in the final. He gets fouled. Something seems to happen.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a spark plug, isn't he?
Yeah, he's scrappy.
Yeah,
he's knocking
scrappy.
somebody over, or he's getting knocked over. But there's something's happening. Let's see what he's got.
He's electric. He's electric. He does have some electricity about him, and I even saw a link with us selling him to Milan for 30 million. And I just thought to myself for a second, I was like, dude, like, we're pulling that off, getting this guy for 8 million, and then just say we sell him in the summer for 30. Like, whew, chef's kiss. It's just unreal, man. Hannah says he could be brilliant. I know he's a silky player. At his best, before the injury, dude, everyone was talking about Chiesa, right? I mean, he's a really good player. You know what he kind of reminds me of? And this might be a hot take, but before Gakpo was like a nailed-on starter, right? When he was coming off the bench, the impact that Gakpo had, I feel the same way kind of about Chiesa that you're kind of describing. Like, he kind of makes something happen.
The stats aren't there, and that's fine. We get that, but it's like something happens, even if it's not something great. Like, something happens, something changes, and I've always felt that way about Elliott as well. Something happens.
Yeah.
Whatever. We're not getting into that. Okay,
Elliott. Yeah.
Before we wrap up, there's a match today, an opportunity to win against this year one of the worst teams in the league, but they're still Spurs.
It's crazy.
They're fighting for something in another competition. So I don't know if they're going to come with everything today. I actually don't think Spurs would mind losing the title to us at Anfield today because they got bigger fish to fry. They're not going to get relegated. They're not going to do anything in this competition. I think, just given that they do have some quality players, I'm going to go with the old 3-1.
You've chosen 3-1 for like 8 straight months, dude.
It's the safe bet.
It's such a safe bet. The thing with Spurs is that blows my mind is Ange is still there, right?
I think so. Yeah.
The team is he still there?
I think so.
They have 18 losses, Steve.
Dude, they're in 16th place.
They're awful.
But what are they in the conference league right now? Or
it's just weird. It's one of those situations where 18 losses, bro. It's 37 points. It'll be a battle. I can almost guarantee you it won't be an easy result. They're not just going to settle down and focus on other competitions. They're going to come in and they're going to battle. It's all, dude, I'm telling you, it's always been a battle.
We scored 6 against them earlier this year, didn't we?
Oh my God. Did we?
6-3. Yeah, we won 6-3, I think.
That's right. That was a crazy game. Oh my gosh. Dude, who do they?
I want to win it today. I can't take the anticipation anymore. Let's win it, and let's get a
win it at
honor
Anfield
for the next 6 weeks.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. Because who do we have coming up? Who would give us the guard of honor?
It would be Arsenal.
It would be Chelsea on the 4th. Chelsea, Arsenal,
Brighton,
Brighton,
Palace.
Brighton
Chelsea,
Palace.
Arsenal, Brighton, Palace. I don't care about Brighton or Palace, but these next two would love a guard of honor there.
You know what? All right, so let me ask you this. Would you rather have a guard of honor from Arsenal or officially win the league against Arsenal?
Guard of honor. Are you kidding me?
Guard
I don't
of
want
honor.
to give them a chance to
All right, I'm
delay
just
that.
saying. I'm just
No.
saying. No.
Because here's the thing. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose that match against Arsenal. I wouldn't. Because
but then
because it's a storyline, Kyle. Arteta, there have been times this year or earlier in the year where you could make the argument that they were the better team, that they were better than us. I probably wouldn't have bought the argument, but they were pretty darn good earlier this year. They're still good. He wants that. He wants the Champions League, obviously, but he wants that bad. He wants to beat us to be able to say, like, see, we told you we were better.
See, that's what I was going to say before you started talking, was that's just more ammunition for Arsenal and Arsenal fans to be delusional. It's like,
yes,
it's like when we officially won the league, and then we went and played City the next week, and we lost 4-0 or something.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like
that's what I'm thinking about.
Oh God, I don't want that to happen though. Like you know how satisfying it'll be to not only win the league today, but then go into Arsenal and still win.
That's at home too.
I mean, that's awesome. God, I hate Arsenal. I hate Arsenal.
It's really bad.
So you said 3-1. We're at Anfield. I'm gonna go 4-0, and it's only because I feel like no, I'm going to go 2-0, and I only think that because I feel like goalkeepers, Tottenham's goalkeepers specifically, have the game of their lives against us, wherever it is. I'm telling it always happens. I'm going to go 2-0. Ross says, doesn't matter who Ange plays, we can beat them if we play, and I believe we'll be fired up for today. Today's the day, man. Today is the day. Steve, what are your closing thoughts, man? Great show today, by the way.
Closing thoughts. We're right on the edge here. I want to win. I want a win. A point will do, but I would like a win. I want to win out. I want to run away with the thing even more. We'll be up by 15 points if we win today. We'll be Premier League champions. We'll get guards of honor for the next 4 weeks. Most importantly, at Chelsea and Arsenal, it'll be a beautiful thing. It'll be such a beautiful thing. They've earned it. We're going to win the league convincingly. We're going to win it with humility, with class, and then we get to walk through a guard of honor. Most importantly, against Arsenal. I
love that last part there. We've won it with dignity, with class, and I just can't. I really would love to see how Arsenal fans respond if we win it today and they have to stand for a guard of honor. Just to rub it in, man. I absolutely love it. Guys, thank you very much for being here. Thanks to all of our channel members for supporting. Steve, thanks for being here, man. Until next time, Reds. Take care.